Hello, everybody. I'm here
Hi,
with
Richard. Hi,
sidekick KG. It's another edition of Staffing Sharks Review It. And today we have an incredible company, VCV Digital Recruitment, with Annie, and Eric. Hope I got that right. Did I get it right, or is it?
Absolutely. Hi, Richard. Hi, Kirsten. Thanks for having us.
Hi
Hi.
everyone. Hi everyone. Happy to be here.
Awesome. So I'm so excited because, as KG knows, I'm all about this video resume, video interviews. I'm 100% all about videos all the time now. So this is going to be an exciting segment. So I tell you what, let's just deep dive into it and tell us a little bit about the history of your company, and we'll go from there.
Sounds good.
Sure.
Eric, do you want to kick off with this?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll start. So my career started when I was 18. I started to work at recruitment company, and I worked at a big, large recruitment agency, and spent 10 years as a recruiter, team leader, head of sales and recruitment agency, everything. And when I was doing recruitment myself, I saw how hard it is to do all the process, to find resumes on job boards, to reach out candidates, then to invite for an interview. And then when you start an interview and understand that there is not the best match with the candidate and the role, you kind of have to spend an hour just being polite to a candidate and to spend that hour asking questions, answering to candidates' questions. And I thought there should be another way to do that process faster and better. And I decided to create VCV, which is a video resume tool that helps you as a recruiter to see a candidate before you meet a candidate. So like 5 minutes of VCV saves an hour with non-relevant candidates. This is the main idea of the company. So this is what we have been doing for many years already.
So it's kind of like the phone screen portion, the information gathering portion is them talking about their resume just to a camera.
Yeah, there are. So you as a recruiter create several questions. So for example, you have 5 questions. You set time limit to read the question. So there is no like unlimited time to think about the question. You have only 10 seconds as a candidate to read the question. And after 10 seconds, camera is on and you have a minute, for example, to give an answer. So let's say you have 5 questions, 1 minute each, 5 minutes in total to give an answer. So you are recording your answers as a candidate on a video and then send a link to a recruiter or a company. It's not something that candidate can talk about anything he or she wants. It's something that company wants to hear from a candidate and then to react on it.
How long is your interviews? Like, how long are they? 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes? What's the max on that?
There is no maximum, but there is something that we advise to have. It's better to have not more than 7 questions. This is what we see, 7 minutes. It's easier for both parts to record and to watch. When you have, let's say, 10 candidates, 20 candidates, it's easier for you to go through every video resume to see candidate when it's a short ones. If it's in like 30 minutes video, it's still heavy for a recruiter to watch that videos. 7 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes. It's I would say the ideal one.
Do you find that there, given that, especially here in the U.S., most of us are still remote, or we are, we're not in an office building, we're not meeting together. Do you find that folks are still engaging as heavily with your platform, given the fact that, we can hop on, say, another thing, and instead of having the one-way conversation, we can have a two-way conversation and still have that engagement and still be, looking at folks and, kind of helping them to feel at ease and, giving them the good body language and all of that. Are you finding any nuances or any differences now that we are remote?
Especially last year when everyone gets remote, we had 4x increase in the use of the platform.
Okay.
And and the thing is that candidates, they say that it's easier for them to spend 5 or 10 minutes in a car or at home when everyone sleeps to record that short video resume and to send it instead of trying to find time in the schedule
Yeah.
to do online. So it gives flexibility for both parts. You don't need to kind of find time in your schedule. You can just spend 10 minutes to do that, and the recruiter can watch anytime he or she wants, even if it's different time zones, let's say different countries. If you need candidates from Europe or from Asia, there is no need to match that time zones to do online Zoom call or other Skype call.
I like that.
Awesome. And I want to ask you, is this easy to access, like on their cell phone? I mean, is this something they can just do mobilely?
Yeah, absolutely. There is no need to download even an app. It's in mobile browser. So you just open a link and you do the all recording on your device.
And is it saved just on your platform, and then the recruiters or the companies have to go into, I guess, their files or their database, however you guys have it set up? They go into their company profile and view things, and then they're open to everyone, or is it by user?
It's not open to everyone. There are two ways. So if we talk about the video interview part, when the company invites a specific candidate for a specific role, and there are specific questions, for example, only that recruiter can see that recording from a candidate. If there is a video resume part, so for last year, we opened an opportunity for anyone who looks for a job to record its own video resume and to share a link to any company he or she wants to work at. So instead of sending only a PDF or Word resume, anyone can add a link to a video resume just to show the personality and who is behind the text. So this one is open to everyone. It's a B2C product, so anyone can record. It's like Instagram or Snapchat stories that you can share with anyone you want. This is the link with all your profile on it, and you share it with any employer you want. And the first one, it's only specifically for a company. Yeah.
And how long are the video resumes normally?
There are only 4 questions and 30 seconds for each, so it's 2 minutes long for a video resume.
I mean,
and
that's to record it, you might need another couple of minutes because you need to get in there, read the questions, get yourself prepared and stuff like that. So yeah, like 2 to 4 minutes.
That's awesome. And you know what I found out, especially here in the States, because I love this, be honest with you. This is something, it's the future that a lot of people over here hasn't caught on yet. They're still in that black and white resume print that, on Indeed, and they're wondering why they're not getting an interview. But this is something that I have candidates that said they've never been in front of a camera before, and then they become a rock star on the video. So what can you tell like people out there that's never done this before and they're camera shy, how to jump over that hurdle?
I think all of us know how hard it is to create a text resume. My friends always call me and say, could you help me with this text resume, like how to build it? And it takes like several hours to sit and think what to put in the resume. And usually what candidates do, they just copy a job description from a vacancy and then pass it to a resume. And it's not as easy as it may look like to create a text resume. When we talk about video resume, I think there is no one who doesn't have video calls, at least the ones who work at office. And there is a generation who is using TikTok, Instagram stories or Snapchat stories and everything. And what we see for that generation to create a video file, it's much easier than to create a text file for a resume. And this is what I believe in the future will be on recruitment market. So it will be easier for everyone to just record and spend 5 minutes to express yourself than just to sit and think what to put in the text resume. So what I would advise for anyone who wants to try video format first, just give it a try. There is nothing to in B2C thing, in video resume tool. There is an option to record several times, so there is no need to do it from just first try, and you can just practice it. And I think it's great to share that link with your friends or recruiters and get a feedback. What do you think? How I look for that role, or even if it's a company, to receive a feedback, what I'm saying right or wrong, and it helps candidates to improve their interviewing skills. So instead of just going and spending an hour and not receiving any feedback, candidates now can use that video tool to share it with, I don't know, career consultants, and to ask for a feedback how they are answering to several questions. This is like a practice for interviewing for candidates.
Perfect. I love that. I'll tell you what, one thing that is exciting, and I'm just going to go on and on about this because it's like so exciting for me, but what is the time length for this? Like when they take their video resume, do they have like 30 days and it disappears, or is this with them for a year, 2 years, or how long?
It depends on what they want. It works like almost forever. We don't put any limit, but anytime any candidate can just go back to that link and close that video resume. So you can delete the video you want. So either for a video resume or video interview, a B2B or B2C, anyone has the right to ask to delete that video like forever. And we as a platform, we have to do that. So it's not depending on a company. It's not the privilege of a company to keep it. It's our responsibility to delete if candidate wants to delete the video file.
Perfect. So that company doesn't keep it forever and can push it out somewhere else. It's up to the candidate, which is great. That's security. If they get a job, take me off for now.
Absolutely. Yes.
Can they have more than one video resume at a time?
Yeah, you can record any number of video resumes. If you are applying for different roles, for example, admin position or sales position, you can record several video resumes. And also to compare with the text format, when you send a text file, PDF file to a company, they keep it forever. So it depends on them how long to keep it. You are not like managing that file anymore. But with the link of video resume, you are managing the life of that link. So you can create any number of links and then manage them, which one you want to close, delete, or keep.
Okay. I always like to ask these questions because I am such a diversity advocate, and I worry about bias, especially as it relates to AI. And I'm speaking from terms of like how folks are receiving messages. And I'm saying for the recruiters, for the hiring managers, do you see are there ways that like you can mitigate folks being able to separate like what's constructive criticism, like what's real and what is actually discrimination, what is actually bias, what is actually someone that is trying to weed out a certain demographic, or they didn't like your accent, or they didn't like, the cadence with which you spoke. And they're just like, a lot of times when folks don't want to hire you, they find a way, they find things to say. And, again, I have to speak from a compliance standpoint because I have been, an auditor of recruiters and an auditor of processes. So how is it, since we can't keep files? So I guess I have two questions. Since we can't keep files and say that, John Doe had this killer video resume and Jane Doe had this killer video resume, and we want to prove, like why we hired Jane Doe and John Doe as opposed to Brad Doe and Casey Doe. Like, how do we determine that when we can't maintain the files?
Sure.
That's a very good question. Can I quickly answer this?
Yes,
sure.
Please.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because we've faced this several times in the States. People ask us what if somebody Black would record a video? What about discrimination, this and that? So that's a great question, and it's good to raise it here. So the thing about it is that when a candidate records a video, we attach the terms and conditions that they would need to read first, and then to, you know, put a tick where they agree. So we are not doing this against their will, and that's the key, right? We never do against the will of a candidate. That's the first thing. Another thing is that a video resume, the one that we are like talking about so specifically right now, is something that a candidate, like he does not have to do it. It's just a wish to show that, look, I'm ready to stand out. So this is not ever going to make any difference as long as you say something unpleasant on the video. I don't know, as long as you don't say assaulting things, right? If you're being nice, if you're being open-minded, if you show your competencies, if you show the things that you've done previously, then this is either an advantage or it's a wrong employer, because the wrong employer will never see you as a right candidate if you are, I don't know, Hispanic or Black, whatever, right? So this is not about being afraid of being discriminated. This is about being brave enough to stand out and say, look, I am who I am. I'm a great specialist. You either hire me for like who I am, or you don't hire me at all. Like there's no matter. If somebody wants to kind of demonstrate their bad manners, because this is what I call it, bad manners, they will do it anyways. They will do it regardless. When they see you at the office, they will still do it, right? So they better find a way to hire you because you managed to make this extra mile for them, demonstrate that you're ready, rather than standing, you know, laying back and saying, oh, I'm not going to do this. At least what we thought.
That really resonates with me because I am of the mindset that it's not on the job seeker to not be discriminated against. It's on the employer not to discriminate, but we still see it. I mean, it's still evident. Data still proves that certain names, you know, again, and even if you get past that part, you know, if you say you don't have a LinkedIn profile or say you don't have a social media presence that is discoverable, and they really don't know who you are until they meet you or until they speak to you, I still think that some folks still put unnecessary barriers and unnecessary roadblocks in job seekers' way that don't have anything to do with doing the job in particular. And it only takes one person to say, oh, well, you know, they're not going to fit well here because like I said, like there's an accent and, you know, our customers want to hear someone that speaks correctly. Like they just like, it's languaging. It's all of those types of things that, you know, I still worry about them. And I do my best not to put that on the job seeker, but we can't ignore that those things happen. So do you all keep statistics on which, like how video resumes are ranked by your customers? Because we do the same with resumes. You know, we'll say, hey, if you see, we've done these, you know, these projects where we're like, okay, the same exact resume, the same content, we'll put an ethnic name on one, and we'll put a Eurocentric, anglicized name on another, and people have been more drawn to the Anglo name. So, you know, do you guys keep any type of statistics and things like that as to how your video resumes are received?
If I may take this question. First of all, I'd like to say that this topic is really important for me, being with an Armenian origin and having an accent and, you know, like all that, everything, and being a founder of a company. This is what I think always to give an equal opportunity for anyone to apply to any company and work whatever they want. And in terms of the video and text, if we compare first steps of screening, what I can say, if you are a recruiter and you are the only one who receives a text resumes, you have that power to kind of select with names, age, and all of that. When you have a process inside your company, when the video link or video resume have to watch several people, and only after that they decide who is invited for an interview, then it decreases the bias, because not only one person watched that video file. And this is what we see. A video file, it's easier to share with your colleagues than organize an interview with several people. So instead of spending like 3 hours having 3 interviews, you just share this link and 3 people spend 15 minutes to watch that video file. So this is what we see, a decrease in bias when several people involved in pre-screening at first steps inside the company. This is first thing. The second thing, what we see among our customers, and we work with large companies, they ask us to have only audio files instead of video files. So the company has a choice to have only audio interview instead of having a video interview. And this gives a flexibility for a company. If they want to receive some answers, they don't want it, I don't know, type. They want to hear what person thinks about anything. And another point that I want to mention that you also, I think, said about that anyway, candidate comes to an interview and there is a chance for a company to do this discrimination at the interview. And no one knows what happened at that interview, what questions were asked, how candidate reacted, and only decision of one person is to, I don't know, reject the candidate. When you have a video link, you are not able to say that this candidate is answering wrong or right, because other people can see and watch the answer. So I think video, because anyway, there are topics about blind recruitment and trying to do that kind of blind selection. But anyway, you are, as a company or a team leader, you choose someone who you want to work with, and there is a meeting anyway. So it's impossible to have no meetings in the recruitment process. And I think this video part just makes it everything easier for diversity and to have. So I have many friends who are founders of different companies, and they say they put a statistic for diversity, diverse candidates, and they now use a website, which are the job boards, oriented on a diversity. So they don't use only the main job boards, but they go to smaller job boards to have a diverse number of candidates. So yeah, I think it's moving, maybe not as fast as we want, but I think all these kind of tools with video, or audio and other things helps to show not the color of the person, but the personality of the person.
Perfect.
Thank
totally
you.
agree.
Thank
and
you.
I think hiring managers, when I talk to them, this is the amazing part. They're home watching Netflix with their family, and they're scrolling and they see 5 resumes I sent over video. They can click it within 2 minutes. They can say yay or nay, or if it's a fit, which is amazing compared to sitting on Indeed or Monster and them other ones. I mean, that's great platforms, but I think this jumps you to the top of the line. One thing that I have a concern with is some of my older population are kind of like shy to be in front of a camera because of their age. Is there any barriers for that, for like age discrimination? I mean, on that end, to help us get through this?
I don't have any case to mention about the age discrimination. Obviously, when you have a Zoom interview, you also have that same picture that you would have on a video resume thing. And what I think it's important to mention that every candidate has a right to agrees on to do the video resume and disagrees with that. So if there is like discomfort to do that video part, the candidate can say about that. And we have many customers who say that this video process and video step, it's optional. If you want to save time and to record, just record and send it. If you don't want, okay, we can have a Zoom call. What we see, recorded video files, video resumes, it's more convenient for candidates as well. So many candidates, they prefer to do that video part because they maybe can re-record it, and there is not only one chance to do that impression on an employer. And yeah, I think it's important to give that choice to candidates if they are able or they are willing to record or not.
Okay. So for the folks who do get a choice, does the video or the audio resume take the place of the print resume?
Yes, there is a button that you can
Okay.
upload your resume or a link to your LinkedIn profile or any other file that you want to upload. Yeah.
And then the last question for me, again, here in the States, especially, we have to think about our folks who have other abilities. So is there a way that videos can be transcribed or that the audios can be transcribed for folks who perhaps are deaf, for example? Like is there any accessibility to those who it's not that easy to just pick up a phone or, get in front of a laptop and film or tape themselves answering questions or telling you about themselves?
Great question. Thank you for that. So first of all, I would like to mention that we work with several organizations who are hiring people with disabilities, and it's so heart touching to see. The main point to use our product was before a pandemic, they didn't want these candidates to travel to an office for an interview, and it gives so much flexibility for candidates to answer to some kind of specific questions, I would say, when it's asked like, what are you able to do, what you are not able to do. If there are some candidates who can say that I can't read but I can talk and answer to phone calls, or I can't hear anything but I can type anything. So at the interview, it's a bit hard for recruiters to ask that questions, and it's always kind of, I think we all should be educated on how to behave in that kind of interviews or questions.
Absolutely.
And in this video format, there are nonprofit organizations who help to employ candidates, and they create questions. They are not afraid to ask anything, and recruiters only watch answers. So there is no need for recruiters to ask that questions online. And what we saw on that recorded videos, that candidates was so happy to easily talk about everything they want to say. And it made so easy that communication between companies who want to hire people with that specific abilities and candidates who wants to kind of express what they are willing to do. So we have a technology which is called, answering to your question, we have a technology called speech to text. So everything what candidate says on a video, it is transcribed to a text, and recruiter can see what is said on a video format. So we are not giving that like functionality to B2C product, but it is possible to use on a recruiter site. So for ease to use it, we I think maybe it's my fault kind of to think about more. We haven't thought like to develop it more towards even being able to read from using specific programs. There are specific programs that can read text if you are not able to see, and we don't have that yet. But this is great point to thing for us to make it as well, because we need to think also not only about web but also about the phone devices. But for recruiters, there is a speech to text to read everything what recruiters what can they say on a video.
Thank you.
One thing that I have to talk about is, how about like hobbies and different interests on your video resume? You got the positive, negatives. Should they express any of their stuff that they do, community work, any of that stuff? What is your take on all that?
Well, that's a great question. And if we talk about our B2C product, because as you have already understood, we have two, right? We have one for corporations and one for candidates to record their video CV. So either or, for corporations, they can totally mention, as one of the questions that, share your hobbies with us, tell some more about yourself and stuff like that, so that the candidate has a chance to show some work related side of their personality. Speaking of the B2C product where candidates can record their video CVs for free anytime and anywhere, there is this one last question, the fourth one, that states, tell us something we don't know about you or something you want to share with us. And they have time to actually talk about those things that they find important. And well, hobbies can be one of those.
I love it.
Perfect. Awesome. One final question here. As you can tell, I can go on and on about the video stuff, man. This is just like, I know, I'm an 80s kid, so I'm about that pop-up video resume is what I call it. But do you have any great stories to tell us about some of the different candidates that got jobs or anything like that? I want to share a couple with us in my audience here.
Well, I know personally a couple of people who recorded their video CVs. Then they uploaded those along with their text CVs to some companies, and then those companies hired them, and they were like, what was that? So they loved the experience. They loved the whole idea. And then at some point when they posted their vacancies on Indeed, they were like, send us your VCV me along with your text CV. So we saw a good handful of companies literally asking for our product being inserted in the CVs of candidates. So that was an amazing experience. That was an amazing journey that we started. Most of those companies, they converted and became our corporate clients, and they are using the full product that we have. Not like they're not asking for video CVs anymore, but they actually invite candidates to go through their video interviewing processes.
Nice.
And as for the whole experience from like corporate perspective, when companies use the core product to hire candidates, we've heard a lot of feedbacks like, I was amazed of the energy of this person. The person was great. She was so, I don't know, funny. She was joking. She was not only telling us something specific, work related, but she was open. I saw her smile. People mentioned smiling. People mentioned the energy, and that whole thing, drives us even more, towards having this video more popular among companies and among candidates.
I love it. I love it. Any other stories, Eric? Do you have any good stories to tell us?
Yeah, I just remember I was speaking in front of 300 students as a speaker, just about the business, startup, and everything. And it was so interesting that one student just came up and said, you know what? I know your product because I recorded the video resume and I got an internship for work at a big bank. And I just want to say thank you. And it was in front of 300 people. I was so, I got so emotional just seeing a candidate who is using your product and standing up and saying loudly that it's cool and he was happy to use it. And that was really, for me as a for founder, was really emotional thing to see that it's not only companies and employers who pay money to us, but also candidates who are happy to use that product. There are many stories. We were receiving feedbacks and we were collecting feedback from candidates, and we got so many positive feedbacks that it helped to change the career. It was the candidate was able to apply for a role being far away from a company's office, and then after he was accepted by video, traveled for an offline interview, etc. But that moment when student came up and just told that he was happy, that was really emotional for me.
Oh, that's great.
Man, that's where it's at. So now, where can everybody find you guys on the net and try the free trial and get the demo rolling?
So the video resume thing, it's vcv.me, M-E. So it's free for everyone to record the video resume and to share the link with anyone. And the B2B tool, it's vcv.ai. There is also an opportunity to use one vacancy for free. So anyone can just register and get that access. But if there is a need to use more than one vacancy, we can, I don't know if we agreed on it, but we can give some small discount for companies who watch this show and just mention Stuffing Shark, and then we can just figure out for some
there it is.
discount.
discount. Mention the shark.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for those who are candidates who are watching this streaming right now, we worked with several absolutely magnificent career coaches and bloggers who published a lot of materials regarding the right way to record video CVs. So it can be helpful for all of the candidates. So Google vcv.me and see what Deja White, Kelly Nash, and Pritpal Kaur, Margaret Boy write about us. It's very useful. They know exactly how to do it. They are great, and they write a lot about the video tool that you can use.
Very nice.
There it is. KG, any final thoughts?
No, I'm excited. I'm going to check you guys out. Maybe I'll record one of my own video resumes, add it to my profile, and see what happens.
Awesome.
Sounds awesome.
Thank you.
Incredible.
Awesome.
Thank you both for being here. How many times I have to say this again? Everybody out there, video is the wave of the future, and it's here right now. I'm telling you.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Kirsten. This has been great.
Make sure you check them out. VCV Digital Recruitment.
Thank you.
Guys,
Thanks a lot.
and we'll talk to you soon on another Review It.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.